Peat season continues with Ballechin 15-year-old Huelva Orange Cask Wine Finish. What's it like? How sweet is this? And how peated is it? Well, you'd better stay tuned for Whisky Whistle. Greetings, my whiskey people. Thanks for joining in. I'm Mark, the host here of Whisky Whistle, where I've been sharing great whiskey and spirits content since 2015. It's my 10th anniversary year. Thank you so much for following along. And if you're just finding me now, well, you've got a lot of catching up to do. Anyway, what have I got here? I have a very interesting peated Edradour, which is known as Ballechin. This one is something that I picked up thanks to my sister-in-law. I purchased it through Amazon in the UK, had it sent to her address, and she and her husband, my brother-in-law, brought it here, which, wow, I'm so thankful. What a great way to help out the channel. So, and me, thank you so much. So this is really interesting. Let me just pull this up close for you. So it's 15 years old, which is quite old for peat. Peat really changes. But it's, first of all, it's a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey. As I said, made by Edradour Distillery. So this is actually a peated Edradour. This one is distilled on 2nd of September 2009. Bottled 4th of September 2024. So it's already a year old. I really should have gotten this review out at that time, but they were in town. Then my parents came, and then all hell broke loose when my father ended up catching Legionnaire's pneumonia. He's better now, but anyway, he was stuck here for a number of months. Now, as you can see, right on the front of the bottle, it says natural in color and unchillfiltered. Well, actually, I should say no. It says natural color and cask strength. Probably it's on the back here. Bottled at natural strength with no artificial colorant. This release contains the natural color and full depth of flavor, blah, 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 blah. Well, now, does this not say that it is unchillfiltered? Okay. Well, that's funny, though. So it does not say that it is unchillfiltered. But anyway, cask strength. The malt is typically peated to at least 50 ppm, they say. Cask strength, natural color. It's really hard to read, but it says heavily peated right up here. Anyway, I'm not going to read the tasting notes, but I will read the information that they've provided, and let me get up close and personal with the mic. Ballechin is the heavily peated malt that we craft at Edradour, using malt that is typically peated to at least 50 ppm. This intriguing expression showcases our commitment to innovative cask selection. After initial maturation, the spirit underwent a finishing period of 26 months in carefully selected first fill orange wine hogsheads, imparting a unique and complex character to our robust peated whiskey. Okay, so I'm not going to read the tasting notes there. But you might be wondering, what is Huelva Orange Wine? So let me just chat about that first. But before that, why not subscribe to Whisky Whistle? That link should be right over here somewhere. Hit the bell so that my reviews, the Whisky Whistle reviews, are queued up in your own YouTube feed. And even more so, if you'd really like to lend a hand and get all hands on deck on the boat that is Whisky Whistle, then join the Whisky Whistle crew on Patreon, patreon.com/Whisky Whistle. Now let's get that poured first of all. And what a color. This has a very, very unique color. And there's two kinds of quote-unquote orange wine. One is a rather recent terminology, which has appeared with apparently white wine grapes, rather than have the skins have minimal contact with the fruit, the must. The wine is allowed to macerate with some skins, kind of like red wine grapes in production. But no, that's not what this is. This is the Spanish kind of wine. And let me just get into here. Huelva Orange Wine. It's a kind of a dessert wine. Orange peel is macerated with white wine, sometimes with the addition of spirit, and then aged in American oak barrels. A little bit more detail. Let's get into this. Dried bitter orange peels are macerated in grape spirit for at least 6 months, using a minimum of 200 grams of peels per liter of spirit. That's a lot of peels, 200 grams. So that's like the peels of probably 6 to 10 oranges per liter. That's a lot. That's a lot. And then it says 6 months, right? So you can imagine how much. I guess they've got a funny word for that kind of a production technique here in Korea called tamgum. Anyway, so there's going to be a lot of pulling out of those orangey flavors from the skin, also from the zest. So that's cool. The flavored spirit is then combined with a base wine, which is often made from Zalima grapes, though other varieties can be used. And then there's a sweetening process, not sugar. Listen carefully. Sweet styles are made by adding fresh or concentrated grape must to achieve the desired sweetness. Grape must, again, if you're not familiar, that is basically just the mashed up grapes in wine, the process of wine which may contain some alcohol, but it's not fully fermented. Aging. Here we go. The wine is aged in oak barrels. It says no larger than 650 liters for at least 2 years, typically using a Solera system similar to sherry production. Now, I doubt that those are the Solera casks. It would say Solera. That is a huge thing, a huge deal. So we don't have that. But anyway, regardless of what's happening here, we can see the color. We know it's been 26 months. And we know it's American oak barrels. That's what they do use. They did mention hogsheads. So I would imagine that they've got barrels and maybe they recoopered them into hogsheads, which are barrels with extra staves added, plus a new head, or possibly the same head. They can stretch it, but probably it's newer, I think. And then with extra staves added. Okay, so essentially like 5 barrels will be turned into 4 hogsheads, or 4 into 3, or 6 into 4, or something like that. Okay? I am talking a mile a minute. Boy, oh boy. Okay, color. Let's have a look at the color of the Ballechin, the 15-year-old Huelva Orange Cask Wine Finish. Very, very rich and orangey. We should expect lots of orange influence here. Shall we get into the nose? Let's do that. Sweet. Rather than orange, very, very, very wine, sherry flavor. Now keep in mind, this has been under wraps for about a year. The peat is smoldering, it's soft, smoky, peaty, not maritimey. And that peat really builds. The first smells you get are that sweet wine from those barrels coming through. Now, it might not have been the Solera barrels. It might have been just a standalone barrel that had the wine aged in it that was then shipped over, maybe 4 of them or 5 of them shipped over to Edradour, and where their coordinating cooperage, they turned those 5 barrels into 4 hogsheads, for example. Does it say how many bottles we have? 2,430 bottles. And this is cask strength. So just to do a little bit of simple math, 2,430 times 0.7. So 1,700 liters. And a hogshead, let's say, I don't know, an average of 275 liters. So yeah, looks like about 6 total hogsheads. So maybe that was 10 initial barrels, American oak barrels, or whatever, roughly. Anyway, that's a pretty big outturn. And I'm really glad that I got one of these. And there's a spicy aroma coming in. Kind of like something like a clove spiced ham. Very sweet. Very, very sweet nose here. And again, that peat is rather smoldering. Let's get into the palate then. A big cheers and a big konbae to everybody that's following from Korea. And a huge, huge 짠 for my sister-in-law. Cheers. So sweet. That wine really gives it a younger edge at the front, the beginning of the palate. The well-aged peat spirit is coming in next, showing again some smoked hammy clove notes. Some minty, floral, smoky, sort of incensey like smoky notes coming in the background. The finish is subtly peaty, very sweet, a touch of orange peel, and a very long, super clean, delicious event here going on in my mouth. Very, very lovely. And you can see that, I did share this a little bit with some people, but I've got about 60% left. And wow, I really, really baby sipped this, especially when you consider that I probably had 4 or 5 drams the very first weekend. I've got some pictures on Instagram. There might have been a video that I put up last year about this bottling. So I think I want to get rid of this can though. It doesn't really do much. It's the same information. It is very colorful, but we'll just set that off to the side over there. Then you can get the full view of everything that's going on behind me, if that's interesting at all. Woo! There is a very, very intense, sharp, not quite sharp in a bad way, but very, very intense, prickly scent coming through here. That's very volatile. That's probably the orange oils that would have flavored the spirit as it's being aged. So very, very intense. Now, I do believe that there is an Amrut bottling using the same wine barrels, I should say. I think that's what it is. Anyway, you can see some little mini Amrut bottles behind me. Another sip. Now, those are very, very fresh wine barrels. So 26 months is a very, very long time. And if you think about 275 liters, and then you think about those staves, that barrel, that hogshead, having a total of up to about 12 liters in it. So then we've got 12 divided by 275. We've got roughly 4% content coming from the wine itself. Anyway, 275 liters of liquid, 12 liters. No. My math was bunk there. Anyway, yeah, 4% wine liquid. And so 26 months is more than enough time to have that liquid pulled in and then have the combined liquid of spirit, Edradour whiskey. That was 12 and a half year old whiskey that went in. Have the whiskey and the wine mixing and melding. And then now that mixture is now in those staves. I really wonder what they've done with those leftover casks. Okay, I think one more little sip here. I do want to add some water. And I'm going to add about 20 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well, I may as well just put that all in. About a milliliter and a half. We're still well over its initial 54.1%, if I hadn't mentioned that. So it's still going to be very strong. Again, I'm not sure about any of the unchill filtering. Is this chill filtered? If so, that's too bad. But if it is, it's probably because those orange wine casks added too much oil from those orange peels. That could be the case. Because typically you'll find Edradour to be unchill filtered, except for its flagship 10-year-old. So we added some water. It's still not quite fully mixed in. But you do see a lot of sediment. So perhaps it is, in fact, unchill filtered. Oh, I mean, like, wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. I hope you could see that. Perhaps they just want us to assume that, hey, this is Edradour. It's unchill filtered. If so, that is too bad that they didn't mention it. Okay, so with water added, just before I get into that, I do want to invite you to check out my previous Edradour Signatory Vintage Unchill Filtered collection, the indie/official, official bottling of Edradour, 46% ABV, fully sherry matured. That's just 2 videos ago. And my last video, the unfortunate Lagavulin Distillers Edition from recent years where it's no longer age stated. Okay, so with water, sweeter nose, a little bit less peaty. More of the wine. The orange is showing up with water added especially. Candied orange peels. Sweet, delicious candied orange peels. The smoke is still there, that floral, heathery, sort of subtle kind of peat. Cloves. Some spicy, little bit of sweet chili. So, this is a big old sweet, subtly smoky event coming in from Ballechin. So happy I got it. Is it my favorite for Peat? No. In fact, I think I really loved the Ballechin Sauternes. What was that? Release number 8 from when they were just getting going. Well, their 8th year of getting going with their Ballechin. Two releases before they finally put out their standard 10-year-old, which I think I have that in the bunker rather far away. Beautiful. Syrupy, thick, amazing long-lasting finish. It doesn't need very much water. The wine, that sweetness, we might be well over 2 grams a liter of sugar from those wine casks. Really helps to soften the blow of the alcohol on your tongue. So quite lovely. And I guess it's time to get into the Whisky Whistle whiskey score. So let's get into that for Ballechin 15-year-old Huelva Orange Wine Cask Finish. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 91 out of 100. You heard it, 91 out of 100 is the Whisky Whistle whiskey score for this very, very unique, different, very interesting peated whiskey from Edradour called Ballechin. Wonderful. Deserves a Whisky Whistle whiskey hug. Bring it in here. And a nice little kiss on the Edradour embossing on the bottle. Mwah. And you might know them as the smallest distillery, but they no longer are. They now call themselves Scotland's Little Gem, which is quite lovely. And reading online, they're up to about 500,000 barrels of pure alcohol per year. That's called LPA, liters of pure alcohol, which they basically quintupled their output. So that's rather impressive. So best of luck to Andrew Symington and the team. And boy, I think that there's been not enough Edradour reviewed on the channel. But the last couple of reviews, including this, are definitely pushing that forward a little bit. Okay, so very wonderful. I'll sign off here. What is going to come next? Well, It's so nice when you get interesting finishes and long finishes. I think we'll stick with the peat story that's going on. And, let's see. I think we'll go into something from Ireland, which is Cask Strength Teeling. Teeling Blackpitts. Have you tried this yet? It is not for the faint of heart. Anyway, take care, folks. Thanks so much. It's Mark here, signing off from Whisky Whistle. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. All right? Take care. Make it a great day.